I'm here at Kelley's Berry Farm, and we're located 7 miles north of Lebanon on Highway 231, right at the Cumberland River. We grow strawberries in May, the month of May and June, and then blackberries come in about the second week of June and go through July. And the blueberries also about that time, about the middle of June through July. And then we have a few peaches starting about the 10th of July is when they come in. This year we just started growing hemp, and we planted it about the middle of June, and now it's been about 6 weeks, and they're growing pretty good. They look pretty healthy. They're about 3-4 feet tall and 3 or 4 feet round. It's legal to grow hemp in Tennessee, and we got our license like in March. Then we got our plants in like in June, and then we planted them out, and we've been growing them about 6 weeks. We irrigate most all our crops. We got drip lines going, and we hadn't had to use it that much this year because of all the rain, but most years we have to irrigate, every so often. And we got a well dug, and we've been pumping out of it all summer. Some years this every day, and it's still all the water we need, so that's a good thing. And we do a whole lot of cover crops in the fall and winter, and that we grow ryegrasses and radishes and turnips, and that builds the ground up pretty good. And then as that goes through the winter, the freeze kills it all down, and then that's what regenerates in the ground, gets all the microbes growing. The radishes and the turnips we leave in the ground as a cover crop in the fall. We plant them like in September, and they'll grow, and some of them it'll grow on until almost January. And then when it gets real cold, it'll freeze them, and they'll just rot in the ground, and that is what gets the ground, all the nourishments in the ground for the microbes to eat and all that. And so we've been in business about going on 40 years. Since 1980, we planted our first blueberry plants. And we've been growing blueberries and strawberries the whole time. And then we started growing blackberries like in the 90s, early 90s, and they were real popular. And then we planted peaches maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and it's kind of catching on. We're still learning on the peaches, have a little learning curve. But yeah, my brother and I run the business, and his son and my son also help. So it's kind of a family-oriented business. We do pick a lot of berries, and some that we don't sell the day that we pick them or the next day. We will freeze those, and then we make our jams and jellies with that. So we start planting strawberries like in September, probably middle of September, and they grow like during the fall because they're a cool weather plant, and they like the cool nights and warm days, but cool nights. And they'll grow all fall, then they go dormant in the winter, and then early spring they'll come up, and then you'll harvest them in mid-April to all through May. And then we grow them on the plastic, and after that we'll get all that, and then you repeat the process again. So they're just 1-year plants. We don't use any pesticides or anything. We do use some fertilizer, so we're not classified organic, but we use, like in our drip lines, we use some liquid fertilizers. And but mostly we use a whole lot of horse manure and like spread it on, and that kind of helps with the fertilizers. And we use lime and stuff like that. Everything's kind of organic. Well, we got a farm market here on our farm, and you can pick your own, and we have the berries already picked if you don't want to pick them. We've been doing it probably longer than most any farmer, the berry farmers, strawberries and blueberries. We've been doing it longer than most of the people around here that I know, and I think we got a few little advantages because we know a few things that work and some things that don't work. And I believe we've kind of over the years learned a little bit more and more of how to get the berries tasting better. It's just trial and error, just the the cover crops are one thing, and irrigating them at certain times is another thing. And then you got to cover up, like in the frost, when the frost is coming, we had covers and we had to cover it all up. And that's kind of a big job, and a lot of people don't want to do that, but it kind of makes a whole lot of difference if you do. The more you work at it, the better things go. The blueberries it takes about 3 or 4 years before they get to producing, but they'll last probably 20 years. And the blackberries, they don't last that long. They probably 5 or 6 years, and then you've got to replant new blackberry plants. And the strawberries, they're an every year thing, so that's kind of the hardest thing to do. My dad was not a farmer. He had the land, and that's how my brother and I got started. He was a family physician, and he kind of bought the land, so we've always been, when we were growing up, we were always kind of working in the garden and farms. So we liked that so much that we started doing the berries. And even when we was 15 or 16, we had a strawberry patch, and we made a little money for school and all that. And we really liked being outside and everything, so we just kept continuing to do what we do.